Okay, back with Enthusia Pro Racing, at least the Driving Revolution mode. I left last episode on the final race, which seems like it's so hard it might take me 3 hours or more to complete, so pray for me. I'm going to go ahead and just try to repeat the stage in parts, because the final stage is just doing all of it all at once. So it probably would be good for my muscle memory, since I have to do stage 1 anyway, and there's no way I'm going to succeed, you know, with a couple months of gap. Believe you can, therefore you can. Really like this theme a lot. Turns really hard. Okay, got you. The brake pretty hard when I get to that. Intuition has me like letting off the gas in part of that turn, and maybe I'm not supposed to. And I think I have to brake really aggressively at that first brake spot. My future Marstead notes said hold the gas down during this entire section until it tells you to brake. And then when it tells you to brake, brake hard. If I recall correctly, part 3 is like really hard too, right? I don't think I can brook any misses really. Using a Xbox Series controller, because my last Xbox One controller finally shit the bed. The rumble on it's really good, or at least maybe there've been updates to Enthusia Pro Racing to make the rumble better. I think previously when I was playing this, the rumble was just basically on or off. Now it's actually kind of more precise feedback. When I do the actual race where I have to do the whole thing, how many, like, mistakes are permissible? Not a lot. Is like one miss a run killer? Bit better at that part, but now I'm spinning out. Right. It's really hard, really easy to overtake that. Break hard. And I'm going too slow is part of the problem. Well, PB for today. I beat this before, but I'm a little worried about the transitions between 1 to 2 and 2 to 3, since I don't really get a chance to practice those. At least this will be like the one car I'm working with, so. I didn't do anything differently with this turn here to maybe get a little bit more control over it. I think these being goods and greats is probably okay. I'd like to be able to consistently hit that, but just have to practice until I know what the break is supposed to be. Yeah, something that can get me in trouble is I don't think you're always necessarily meant to aim for the dead center of the gate. Maybe you are. Maybe you can make your life easier if you aim for, like, to clip it occasionally. Hopefully I can beat this today. We'll see. 3 hours for one mission is pretty rough. Would match a lot of the other content I've been stuck on in games before my brain decides to lock in. I think 245 is usually the limit, unless if it's Millennia. Millennia took me like 5.5 hours, but I have theories for why that happened. That. I think the one time I cleared this, I like got lucky on a run, so I never really got to a point where I was consistent with braking here. So it's probably good practice regardless, and I have to do it on the actual course regardless. I guess I'm completely open to tips here, so if you happen to notice something that you think you can help me out with via typed feedback, I know it's hard since the game's mostly vibes-based. If you think I'm braking too hard or not braking hard enough based on what's happening, or like clipping a gate that I should be going through faster, or in the center of it, let me know. So you get to listen to sweet music. think I need to start braking after passing through that. I keep wanting to brake too early. Maybe it is part of the problem. Try that. Brake now. That was definitely part of the issue. I was trying to preemptively brake. I think I did it again there. Okay. So the brake soon gates are like brake once you pass it, once you hear the perfect noise. I'm probably gonna need to like do a bunch of stuff like that, like talk out what am I doing currently so I can just think out other things I could try, even if it's not the right answer, just to not keep repeating the same error over and over, you know? Save me downforce. Okay. Probably hitting too bad here to have a chance, but... Okay. I feel like that turn is most of the level. The rest of it's not too bad if you can get past it. I'll do each of them once, and then I'll do the whole stage 4. I figure just having not having to practice through the beginning a million times to see what's coming up next seems helpful. I think a miss is significantly more punishing than a bad. Oops. I gotta trust the gates, I think. I keep thinking I'm supposed to brake or let off the gas, but I think if it doesn't tell me to, I shouldn't. Did we ever come to a conclusion on what the carrot gates mean? The little carrot at the top? Does that mean this is more forgiving than most gates? I think the tutorial said we want you to accelerate through this, but that doesn't seem like that's the best definition of what they're supposed to be. Missed a brake gate. Just gonna have to memorize the precise amount of brake to each of these, I think. Right. So ideally, you still want them to be in the center. Okay. I wonder why they make it seems like you tend to get the carrot gates immediately after a brake gate, when you're warned that you're about to need to brake. I guess to give you a little bit of wiggle room with how hard you're braking. Since right after you brake, the game tends to want you to, or I guess whenever the game asks you to brake, you're already going fast. You're probably already going near the top of the gate. That must be why they use them. They stop using them after you're a ways away from a brake gate. Okay, I can take that slower than I thought. Nope. Maybe, we don't have any advice for you. Use what you've learned. Have improved significantly since moving to waiting to brake until after I hear the perfect ding from the brake gate. It does make a very noticeable difference. This is a very tight turn, and I can like almost come to a stop there. Okay, I'm gonna have to try to remember that for when I do the full race. Otherwise, I'm gonna get stuck on that section a bunch. I think the carrot gates make sense because, like, if you notice that they're almost exclusively placed after braking, immediately after I brake, the line is at the top of the gate. So I guess it's a way for you to kind of eyeball the way it's supposed to come down. Probably too many goods. Let's see. Basically fully stopped there, almost. I guess then I get speed problems catching up after that point, but... not good enough. Close, though. Brake way more aggressively. Essentially stop almost. And that's my really important lesson for this part of the track is you can basically stop after the second brake gate and essentially almost need to stop. Had the vision. I think what's going to happen is when I do the full track, I'm at least once going to get to the end where the green bar is on top of the yellow line, and I'm going to fail anyway. I can see it in my mind's eye. Okay, let's do this, and then we'll give it a try. I honestly don't think the extra muscle memory from last episode would have been that big of a deal. If I just kept going for another 3 hours at the end of the last episode. Oh, let's actually don't slow down. This part has like a really challenging bit at the very end, the chicane. My real life friend Sailor Dan is going to put Heat, the board game, on his sub block next time we're able to all connect to play. If anyone wants to join for that, we'll be doing it on Board Game Arena, so we should be able to include viewers if you would like to check out the game, learn how to play it. Actually, it would be kind of fun to teach somebody how to play it on stream, so someone's getting the blind experience. Yeah. Sweet, we'll plan on it then. I'll let you know. I'm very much dependent on his schedule whenever he's free, but it's a fucking sweet board game though. Like, I'm really impressed with it. It's probably one of the smartest games I've seen in terms of like capturing the flavor it's going for, and doing so pretty elegantly without requiring like a million mechanics. So it was very helpful to have played all these racing games leading up into Dan wanting to teach us Heat, because I was like, okay, I understand abstractly what this is talking about when I didn't before. Is brutal. I'm gonna fail right here a million times when I do the full course. I think it's all like accelerator management. I don't think you actually brake at all, but you do have to let off the gas pretty significantly to be able to make the next quite tight turn. I think it's literally letting off the gas for a big chunk of it. Okay, I need to like commit these facts to memory. After the first batch, let off the gas. Does accelerating help me to like turn more tightly at all? I guess I haven't thought about that before. I know on a motorcycle, if you're like leading into a turn, you accelerate in order to like stabilize. It's complicated. Okay. Maybe if I think of it like that. I kind of know that from vibes with a motorcycle, because with a motorcycle, it's sort of like when you're on a bicycle and you're counter steering, like accelerating makes the wheels want to go forward. Opening part is really hard, and it's just the beginning. I might need to brake here, even though I don't get a brake indicator. Let's see. Braking gives me a bunch of bads, and I still start running afoul of the turn. Heavy braking, let's see. Okay, that went a little bit better, but I'm still missing the last gate pretty hard. I think I need to turn in much further. I'm gonna miss that gate. It's basically the same gate every time, so I gotta think about what can I do differently to make sure that I'm coming in there more tightly. So I need to come to the outside of the turn, more on the outside, so I can actually aim into the inside more. That seems to have helped. Okay, I'll try to remember that. I guess it's hard for my brain to wrap around the idea of like going far afield so that you can turn in more sharply to the inside of the turn, if that makes sense. hard for my brain to just process intuitively. Way too many bads. Breaking there definitely helped a bit. I might just need to like break a little bit there and eat one good or even bad gate to make sure I can be. I think consistency is what I need in that section. Like consecutive bads are not acceptable. Use the whole track. Two misses. Actually doing okay there. I might have been able to absorb the misses. Maintain the only thing. I think this game is basically perfect, but I wish that it the bar was backwards in the bottom left corner there. So I knew immediately when it was no longer physically possible to win. Goods might be really bad. No, I'm trying to teach myself not to fully trust the gates. What I'll do is I'll end up leaving the possibility open that once I go to do the full course, if I get to the middle part and I start struggling with it, I'll come back and practice it here if I feel like I've fully mastered the beginning of it. Ooh, can be all bads there. the outside there, I think. So I'll take the opportunity while I'm just practicing this over and over to pitch heat. The whole idea behind heat is basically you have like a deck of cards in your hand. Everybody has the same deck of cards by default. You have like 3 cards will let you go 1 space forward, 2 cards will let you go 2 spaces, and so on, 3 and 4 spaces. And you have these stress cards, which just kind of suck. They're trash in your hand. You don't want them. And you have a big grid. It's kind of like almost like a Candyland grid where you're just moving a number of tiles forward. But the fun part is that every time you approach a turn, there's a speed limit for the turn. And you need to like not exceed the speed limit when you pass the tile that indicates the turn, right? If you exceed the speed limit, bad things happen. So you kind of get this cool effect where players naturally pile up around turns or around corners. And when they pile up, that's when like stuff like drafting kicks in and you can get extra tiles for free if you happen to end right behind another player or adjacent to another player. So it kind of creates some cool like common geometry with like actual racing where the most interesting parts of the race are always at the turns, right? Like you still have straightaways, you can get a really crazy boost along a straightaway and go really far. It has some cool catch-up mechanics and a lot of like cards you can draft into your deck along with the baseline, you know, speed 4, speed 3, speed 2, speed 1 cards. Most of the game comes from like tactically managing. You have this resource in your engine called heat that you can spend on doing some things. Usually what you spend it on is going over a turn, going over the speed limit, right? Because like say the speed limit on the turn is 5 and you have a 7 in your hand, you can spend 2 heat from your engine to still go 7 through the turn, but now that heat is gone, and unless if you build the heat back up, you cool your engine essentially, you overheat and spin out on a turn, it's bad. So it's very interesting tactically, it's also very interesting like strategically. Like the turn to turn is really crazy, and the like your overall plan is really important too. And they have a bunch of like alternate boards for the game where they'll have like different turn structures. Like there's one that has a chicane that's really hard to get through because it's like 2 turns consecutively that you have to not exceed the speed limit on or you'll spin out. Or they might have weather conditions like, you know, here's a race where there's rain on the track. So what does rain do? And it's a cool design space to explore with that. Board games, I always get a kick out of like seeing when they do top-down design, when they're like, okay, like what are ways that you can improve a car, and like what should those do in the mechanics of our game, right? So like what would having better tires do? What would having better brakes do? What would having an air intake do, right? How many definitions of turn? I think they prefer corner. Pretty fast once everybody is good at it, but it takes a while for everyone to get good at it because it's kind of a hard game. Ooh. Ruined what was a pretty good run. It has a pretty cool concept for like shifting gears where like the gear that you're in is how many speed cards you draw for the turn. So like if you're in 4th gear, you have 4 cards and you theoretically could have 3 4s and a 3, right? So you could go like 15 squares on your turn if you're on a big straightaway. But then the benefit of being in a lower gear is that sometimes you want to be in a lower gear so that you're forced to draw fewer cards so that you don't exceed the speed limit for the turn, for the corner. And it lets you cool your engine, so it lets you take cards that are in your hand and put them back in the engine. So it's really interesting. There's a kind of a bit of a card counting aspect to your own deck, but like a very simple version of it where you're like, okay, I know I already played all my 4s. I haven't shuffled yet. So I can risk, you know, staying in 4th gear because I'm not going to draw into a 4 and accidentally speed through this turn and spin out. It's a really cool way to do RNG. I like that about Gloomhaven too, moving away from dice and having it be a randomizer deck that you can modify. This is pretty brutal. That's cool. Yeah, exactly. I don't have. They need to make 4 races, or one is just the chicane. Automobiles. Elion, let me know if you'd be interested in doing Board Game Arena with me, this name, and Sailor Dan. I think the game supports a lot of players, actually. It would slow it down to have too many, but maybe 4 is good. Okay, this is going a little bit better. These bads are just absolutely annihilating me. Things were going so well. I have no idea when I'm going to schedule it. It's going to depend on probably federal holidays anyway, so. Dan is a lab employee, so it'll be a day that he has off. Okay, I'll announce in Discord when it sounds like it makes sense to schedule it. An okay handle on this part. Got too excited about getting my perfects there. Be the 4th of July. He gets like every other Friday off too. It's a pretty common schedule at National Labs. $980, I think it's called. That's good enough. Okay, time to try the real thing. Still need to practice that more, I think, but we'll see when I get there. All right. 40 minutes to get through each of the sections once. Let's see. Can we do all 3 of them in 2 hours? I'm gonna fuck this up. I'm gonna fuck up part 1. It's like being able to go to the other sections is helpful, but I wonder if just needing to bang my head against the wall of part 1 over and over is going to be ultimately helpful. Starts. Even slower. I think I can afford to. Looking how much the green bar is increasing for each perfect is very alarming. Okay, retained a little bit. Could be worse. Okay, so this is now section 2. Which if I remember my rules I gave myself, I'm just gonna keep going if I fuck up. Just to try to learn as much as I can. Basically stop during this section. Ooh-wee. Getting into 3 from 2 is nasty. Yeah. I guess if I really fuck it up, I'll restart, but if it's just like a couple bads or a miss. Yeah. Minor fuck-ups are usually I took an entire section way too slow. Start moving more inward there. That braking has to happen immediately when I pass that gate, but not before. I have to do it as soon as I hear the tink noise. Gonna have a bad time. Ouch. Can't brook a penalty, that's for sure. This is really great final level music. I guess I'll always restart if I'm in the beginning, because I need to do this every time anyway, so I may as well get it right. But if I make it to section 2, I'll keep going with some fuck-ups. Penalty. It's insane how huge the penalty is. You will not be bumping anything, sir. Oh, shit. Let's keep going. Okay, now I'm in part 3, which took me a while to learn. I have to brake in the middle there, even though there's no brake indicator. If I get a string of grates here, it's probably a restart, but let's see if I can make this turn. I think there's a lot of these turns that you can take way slower than it looks like you can take them, but it really wants you to like catch up to speed quickly afterward, which is the hard part. Next one is you can basically come to a complete stop brake. And getting back up to speed after that is kind of a bitch. Probably better than a miss there. I'm coming up soon on start of 3 is right here. I haven't practiced. Oh yeah, bads actively hurt you, don't they? I think if those had all been goods, that may have been possible. Bads are almost as bad as a miss. Just have to remember I need to do whatever I can to take the chicane as fast as I can. Yeah, I was getting the Morpheus, he's beginning to believe. I just wish I could actually practice the chicane meaningfully. I think the best I've done has been to just barely, like, skate my way through it with goods and greats. Next one is the come to complete stop break. Whew. Didn't listen to my own advice, and that, well, I'm gonna keep going. No, I'm not gonna keep going. Sure, yeah. It's like you want to be conservative at the end of the race, but it really punishes you for it, which I think is kind of smart, actually. Come to a complete stop. Ish. Fuck. Fuck. I think that's enough to fail me, but try to get up to the chicane. Just try to practice it real quick. It's almost like you need to not brake at all. You just need to like find the line and just go top speed through it at the end. Pray for the downforce to keep you from going off the road. Seems like every time I instinctively brake there, I get heavily punished. Good sign I'm not really struggling with this beginning part as much now. This game is the king of, like, constant feedback to the player that I don't have to think about. My brain can just start to interpret things subconsciously without me understanding what's happening. Oh, that sucks. Oh, well. Maybe, oh, sorry, I'm OBS for a second. Still overdo it there and spin out. Anticipating that braking might be a death sentence in the chicane might be what saves me. We'll see. Complete stop. That was gonna be a miss. Should have put on the heart rate monitor. Hot damn. Yeah, it was don't brake. Just let off the gas as you go into it. You barely made it through the final stage. Fuck you. I don't care. Car unlocked.
We've got this, Marstead.
Good God.
First try.
Yes. You let my heart rate come down a little bit. Okay. Cosmic Eggway. The throttle, brake, and shift controls are not functional. Use e-brakes. Okay. Literally a drifting challenge. So it's literally just drifting. Oops, all drifting. Yeah, right. Appreciate that they turn everything off but this. Am I just supposed to like lightly tap it? This might be a good mission for me to understand how to do this better. Yeah, I don't think I'm supposed to hold it all the way down. Let's see. Infer when it's supposed to start based on the speed indicators, I guess. Oh yeah, good call. Find the button that does that. Already going better. So we'll literally be sideways at some point. Instinctively moving the right stick to try to see better. Yeah, this is a tough skill set for me to build here. This went better that time. I know, right? After all this. Actually turning everything off except for one button, I think that's fucking great. That's what I want. That's what I want. So you could use this as a way to teach somebody how to drift and then ask them, like, slowly turn things back on, right? Like the throttle. I guess I need to know, like, how should I imagine I'm going to be going through it? Like, am I going to be... My car is going to be just, like, pointed inside of each gate, or am I going to be, like, sliding through the gates? Sliding. Glad I finished the boss mission when I did. This is actually going to take me a while, because I don't have any experience with this. Do you think I'll literally only have to tap the e-brake a single time at the very beginning of it? Or am I going to have to, like, adjust it occasionally after that? It's too much. Sure. What the angle is here. Too much. I like how they're able to still make an extremely hard level even when you have no control over the acceleration. Trying to see if I can figure out, have I gotten anywhere close to the right trajectory so far? If I can, like, try to internalize when it looks like I was kind of going the right way for a second and then lost track of it. That looks okay, but it looks like I'm still gonna fly out too much. I can try to use the fact that it needs to be saying perfect, right? Otherwise, I probably hit it too hard. So I'm sliding too perpendicular to the gate. Press it a couple times there. Okay. First try. With this menu music. Counter steer to drift. Use e-brakes to drift. Counter steer to drift is what it sounds like. Wow, I wouldn't think there was still going to be more of them here. That's really cool. This is what I want racing games to be. Like how, so at the beginning you're like kind of doing this little S curve so that you drift through this whole turn intentionally, essentially. Seems hard to get right. Gotcha. Sort of similar to what you do with a motorcycle, or you tip on the opposite handlebars to initiate a turn. I don't know if I have to like hold right the whole time to make the whole turn once I start it though. Looks like the answer is yes. Not quite. Sure. I do like that it's doing what I keep asking for, right? Which is like taking advantage of all of your design knobs, setting a bunch of the knobs to 0 and setting one of the knobs to 100. Like, to me, that's how you make, that's what a video game is in a lot of ways. And then, you know, messing with the knobs, getting them to specific places eventually, but that's how you teach players your game. So even if this isn't like a realistic thing that anyone would actually do while really driving, it certainly helps you get an intuition for the mechanic they're trying to teach you in a vacuum, right? I really gotta get that trajectory just right, it seems like. Yeah. Too wide. It felt good for a second. Wonder if the zigzag gates being small are meant to imply what wheel is supposed to touch them. I want to jump to the alternate reality where Harambe never died. We're on Enthusia 7 or whatever. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. I'd love to see an indie dev try to make Enthusia. I think that would be a really cool concept. Although what a hard sell. Like, oh yeah, it's just like this game that nobody played from 2005 that single-handedly ended its own franchise prospects. I would appreciate some tips on this one. I feel like I keep not being able to make the full turn. I don't know if I just need to lean harder into it once I go, or if I need to hit the zigzag harder at the beginning. Yeah, no worries. I'm just wondering if there's anything that's obviously not right, like if I should really be hitting this initial zigzag really hard, or if it should be a light touch kind of a thing. Yeah, no worries. Got to be like a once you set it up, it just kind of drives itself at that point the rest of the way, and you just got to get this set up exactly right. That felt promising for a second, and then I fucked it up. It's definitely a PB. I see. So you don't think it's just hold the stick in a direction, like keep adjusting along the way? I see. Keep slowing down too much. I don't know what I can do to stop that from happening. Maybe the whole trick is actually letting off the stick constantly. Oh, so good. Your comment about adjusting the steering afterward is very helpful. Thank you. I was just kind of either not touching it at all or holding right and hoping it would work, but it makes more sense if I let off it. Should probably be a pretty good game to play with a wheel. Probably asked this in a previous racing sim stream, but are wheel controllers for video games literally, do they like map exactly onto an analog stick? Is it just like a 0 to -100 to 100? And the only difference is that because of the mechanism of the wheel, you can't like quickly swap from -100 to 100 immediately. You have to travel through all the intermediary stages. I don't know if there's different tech under the hood, if you could just make a steering wheel and basically just map it to a video game, or if the game has to have native support for it. I see. I wonder if you could still make it so that like the wheel turned all the way to the right is 100, the wheel turned all the way to the left is -100, and still mapped it onto analog stick inputs and have it be good enough for games that don't natively support it. A couple good runs a little bit ago. on! I don't know how to finish making that as tightly as I need to. I don't think I get another chance to adjust my trajectory at that point. Yeah, that makes sense. Too much. Not enough. Come on. Ah. If I had been a little bit over to the right, it probably would have been it. I guess the only other thing you'd have to add to Driving Revolution and Enthusia 2 would be a one-button restart. The restart's already pretty smooth. This gives me so much appreciation for stunt drivers in movies, right? Very easy as someone who knows nothing about driving to like watch a movie that has a crazy driving stunt and be extremely jaded. That's cool. In the universe where we have Enthusia 7, Konami's still making games, spurred on by the insane income from the Enthusia franchise. They don't fire Hideo Kojima. Still making Castlevania games. COVID got contained in the first month of social distancing and lockdown. Everybody they were like so inspired to play the new Enthusia 7 that they all wanted to stay home. Capitalism was overthrown. Every business in the United States becomes worker-owned. When was the Citizens United decision? Maybe that's what put us on the bad timeline. Is it right around when Enthusia got canned? Ah, yeah. Sounds right. Shit got bad real fast. Feels 20 years ago. Come on! Ah! It's like if I'm not already going the right way, there's no way for me to fix it at that point, it feels like. No, I think it needs to be a pretty extreme starting thing here. Yeah. It's interesting to think about. Oops. Try doing this one in first person. It's probably gonna mess up everything I just learned, but probably not. So how do other racing games do drift evaluation? Just how long are you physically drifting? The longer the better, without going off the track. I'm gonna like fully develop the Enthusia timeline in my head. AAA developers basically followed Nintendo's lead immediately with the release of the Wii and abandoned photorealistic graphics. Outside of very specific like niche small games where like the whole point is the photorealism. Enthusia 3 is such a hit. It causes peace in the Middle East. There you go. Now you're thinking. It's like Bill and Ted, but with a video game. Yeah, we have to decide if there's any good things that get lost in the shuffle. It's not necessarily a fully utopian timeline. It is funny to imagine, though. Even if it's not just directly Enthusia, it's just like it happens to be just coincidentally in that timeline, circumstances were right for everything else to be perfect as well. This is really hard. I might actually spend the rest of the stream on this level. There's still 2 to go after this one. I guess part of the problem is I think the whole level is won or lost at that initial zigzag. And I don't get a lot of time to learn. I guess maybe if I really just try to aim to get to the dead center of every gate. Let's try that. No, I have to swing more than the gate. I can't just physically drive into the gate. That's not good enough. So I have to hold right pretty hard at the beginning so I can get as tight into the turn as I can. from a moment being in 2010 when Split Second and Blur came out close together as the last hurrah for arcade racing, and both bombed as they cannibalized each other's sales. You go back, you're like, no! Stagger their release! It is really frustrating to imagine, like, things that suck now that are kind of like stupid accidents of history that like butterfly effect out like that, right? Oh my god. No! Oneness is fine! I don't know what I did to succeed, but I succeeded. Okay, so we did e-brake only, we did counter steering only, shift weight and keep the wheel motion to a minimum to maintain drift. Oh, I see. So when they say wheel motion to a minimum, they mean like keep pressing on the analog stick to like try to counteract exactly what it's doing. It's hard. Really love this idea. I had no idea that they could even turn off like the accelerator pedal. Like of all the things to turn off, that's so cool. Blur is the realistic Mario Kart game. It was like real cars, but you had power-ups and it worked like Mario Kart, but more balanced. No blue shell. That sounds fun. I guess I'm gonna have to do the big turn here because this is where it shows the carrot lines. Can't go literally sideways though. This is easier than the previous one, but it's still really hard. Penalty for going the wrong way. I guess that makes sense. You can just use that to cheat. So you have to go with left and right to make steering adjustments. Gotcha. worried that the fourth mission is going to be drift around the entire track. It's cool. Yeah, that's cool. Really need to go way out of control on this one. I spoke too soon when I said this one is easier than the previous one. It's actually quite hard because you have to make a lot of adjustments on the analog stick. Wish I could pull up like an image that shows me what the tires are doing. I think if I touch the curb, I'm SOL. Man, that's hard. Restart if I touch the curb, I think. Some perfect angle. So. Does one have fewer gates than the other ones? Does it basically end after ending this? Do you think I just need to try to hit the first carrot gate, like just barely tap it on the left side, maybe? I've been thinking I have to get to the dead center of it, which gets me closer to the curb every time. Ah, I had it. That would have been it. Not gonna be able to reclaim that PB. I didn't realize it was going well until it was too late, so I wasn't like steering smartly at that point. No. Too shallow. I think I basically need to almost hold right all the way into this here. Okay. Might serve me better, maybe. Ugh, I keep wanting to turn the camera. Oh, really? That should be the whole turn. See. If I start pressing right as soon as I pass the second gate, that's too late to make it, I think. So I have to do it slightly before the second gate. But not that much before. For the third gate. Too wide. At least I can tell earlier when it's not working. That's probably good. Actually, being off-road a little bit is helpful. I think I know by gate 5 if I've fucked it up or not. A lot more to fuck up after that. I guess this is like a quick gimmick for anyone who's like has any experience whatsoever with drifting and racing games. This is my first ever exposure to it, where I've like actually been forced to perform. Almost certainly take me longer than actually beating the boss course. Straight there if possible. Yeah, but I still don't have any idea what like the feel is supposed to be. You can drift in Mario Kart, but that's not drifting. Good enough. Wasn't sure what that miss. Throttle brake and shift are not functional. Steer quickly after the e-brake. So last one, we're bringing back the e-brake. First attempt wasn't bad, actually. It's through random chance. Yeah. Oh, is it the same challenge? I don't have to go like all the way around the track or anything? Wish I had a better feel for the e-brake. I'm kind of just pressing right bumper down for kind of an arbitrary amount of time and praying for the best. Pretty good. Just kind of having to do the e-brake, but also do the stuff I just learned in the counter steering and slight steering wheel adjustments ones. It's a nice combination of all the stuff I've just learned. I'm guessing I actually actively do not want the carrots to be at the top of the gate. I think if they're at the top of the gate, that means I'm going too fast. I was starting to like subconsciously realize that when I was doing the final boss race. So I was like kind of aggressively pressing the brake and the gas at the same time to make sure that they were at least not at the top, if not exactly in the middle. Wow, things are going okay and I lost control. Too fast. I think the first time I did this, I did have to activate the e-brake more than once, so keep that in mind. So could someone try to explain what's going on with the e-brake? I keep thinking of it as like a magic drift button, but that's not what it is, right? Like, why does it trigger this in a way that braking normally doesn't? Is it because it like suddenly stops the wheels or something? See. It's like a flipper. If I can just hit most of them with my butt, maybe that's what I should be trying to do here. Not go for the center of the front of the car. Like if you go through them while you're sideways, it doesn't count. It might just be because of the impact to speed when you do that. Putting your butt through the gates. Or end up in the grass, that's cool too. Already going too slow. Maybe I can afford one miss based on the last mission. Maybe two if everything else is perfect. That seems unlikely. This would be helpful to know if you think my initial break looks okay. I'm just like pressing it all the way down in between the first and second gates. Yeah, exactly. Because like your success is entirely based on initial conditions. And then essentially perfect performance. I'm glad I booked the full 3 hours, as I thought gimmick meant victory lap, not really hard, but different skill set being tested. Cosmic Eggway. Oh, I didn't realize things were going okay until it was too late. Probably could have recovered that one. Missing 2 gates, I think, is unacceptable. Too much. Too wide. There's a couple gates that I'm very likely to get a great or a good on, and when it happens, it completely like throws my brain off. I should just try to roll through it if that happens. I think it's recoverable in most cases. If I can get greats and goods there and then like straighten out, I think it might be fixable. like right there. I think I could have straightened out and fixed that. I think there is an indicator on the screen for when I'm pressing the e-brake, so maybe if folks can look at that and let me know if you think I'm doing it too early or late. Holding it for too long as well. I know it's vibes, but if something looks obviously wrong, that would help. It's a little red exclamation point near the speedometer. Okay, no worries. Sometimes getting attempts that are getting quite a bit further. I wish I knew if I was intended to have my butt going through most of the gates or the front of the car going through most of the gates. Oh, sorry. I don't know why that happened. Too much. Not enough. There's a Goldilocks amount of drift I need to do here, it seems like. See those speed gates at maximum, I think I'm probably in trouble. I'm wondering I can probably use those as a guide as one to restart. Just look at the gates. Just look at upcoming gates to make sure that none of them are near the top. It's better. Not good enough. I end up going too fast for the rest of it. Come on. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Watching that green bar just drain, brutal. Fuck. Spun all the way out that time. Leaning on the strategy of not looking at the car and just looking at the furthest gate I can possibly see. I think if I were to do an Enthusia 2, what I would do with these drift missions is I would make a special kind of gate that's the gate immediately before you're intended to press the e-brake. And that gate turns red if it detects that under all simulations what you're doing is completely impossible, right? I imagine there's a way to predict that out some number of gates ahead. Yeah, this is like a combination of Mission 3 and Mission 1. You really have to be micro-adjusting the steering the whole time, and it's very precise. Press drift for the exact right number of frames at the beginning, and also fuck with the analog stick correctly for the entire rest of the race. Had that one attempt that was real close. This one feels like it's drifting around the entire oval. Is that true? Just a longer corner. So. Figure out what the camera angle needs to look like. That might help. What I should be seeing. Too much. Fix it there tends to cause me to spin out in the opposite direction. Hi, Benedict. Thank you for not doing that when I was about to win. Guessing I get the amount of drift right, like 1 in every 20 attempts, and then I have to recognize that I have an attempt and execute, which is quite hard. This seems like this might be an attempt. I fucked it up there, but I think it's when like my back left wheel is just barely clipping most of the, yeah, like not like that, but I do think I want to be as close to the inside of the turn as I can be for most of this. Just the more I'm in the middle of the gates, more likely I am to just turn sideways, which is bad. Maybe this is an important point. Now, I do need to turn the steering wheel a little bit, and it's part of initiating the drift, right? I can't just like pull the e-brake and do nothing. Car won't start turning in a certain direction if I don't press the analog stick. It seems like I can press the analog stick pretty slightly there. Ben, I have to go ahead and ask you to not, buddy. I love you. Yeah, I think when I did this I did the first e-brake challenge, I did use e-brake several times throughout the level, but I think that would have been great if I didn't miss that one gate. I think that angle is actually pretty good. Try to keep tapping it just to keep my speed low, since it's my only form of speed modulation. Sure. Which is why every time I slightly adjust the brakes, it seems like the car starts to go straight again. Gotcha. Ah! Could have been it. So I think there's a certain way I can be losing control of the drift where pressing the e-brake again can save me. Hold on one second. Jeez. Yeah. That makes sense to pull the e-brake then. I guess if I come to a stop and hit the final gates and get like all bads on them, it's probably fine. Well, not all bads. I got mostly goods. See what happens if I hold the e-brake down. Do I stop? No. Okay. This is definitely the hardest thing in the game. By a long shot. Too fast. Shouldn't have pressed it again. Yeah. I think the fact that you don't get any control over the acceleration or the braking actually makes it harder. Forces you to engage solely with the core mechanic they're trying to test you on. I haven't really approached my PB in a minute. Sure. You could still fit through all of the gates just fine. See. At speed even, you think? Looking good for a second. I'm just worried that I need to be manning the e-brake more often in the level, and I'm not. I'm mostly just pressing at the beginning. I guess if someone could watch a video of this really quick, just let me know if you see that red exclamation point icon come up more than right at the very beginning of the lap. That frustrating middle zone where I can't tell if it literally requires it or can be used to rescue you, but it's possible to do it without ever pressing it again after the beginning. Always get in trouble right there. I don't know how to keep drifting in that direction. Please. Oh my god. I failed. If I had just clipped the final gate, I would have gotten it. No e-brake after initial use, okay. I think if the green touches the orange line, they should just pity give it to you, give you a D-. Believe that happened. I predicted it earlier, but it was for the main game, the final boss thing. Check what you're saying here in a second. Wide early on, and by the end they were close to the inside. So they're on like the left side of these initial gates. And I guess I keep assuming that I need to be maybe not on the left side literally, but like inside the gates and then starting to clip them from the right side towards the end. A little salty about that one that I was right on the orange line and it didn't give it to me. Oh. I'm not gonna have time to get a heart rate increase in this one because like when it's over, it's just gonna be over. Best attempts I've had, I've used the e-brake a bunch of times mid-race. I should just try to do that, I think. So I think I can still win with that. I just have to be smarter about when I pull it. Not there. Oh, it felt so good. I see what you mean about the end being the hardest part. I've only gotten to the end like 10 times total. Slowing down like that feels like it's recoverable, but it's actually, I'm already on a trajectory where I can't possibly make the last turn. Can you tell me, in the video you watched, I'm really interested in gate 3, or maybe even gate 4. I want to know roughly where the carrot is after they finish e-braking. Is it like in the dead center? Is it slightly below the center? I might be able to use that to figure out how long I have to brake for it to be a potential run. Slightly above center on gate 3. Thanks. Might be the Goldilocks drift I need to have this be possible. Well, it was probably my best attempt, and then I didn't know what to do at the end. It sounds like they don't brake again at the end to straighten out. It's just all steering. It's definitely the hardest individual task I've ever done in a racing game. Frame rate for updating the speedometer is not great. Thanks for checking, that would be helpful. This feels like this is like chaos theory shit, right? Where it's like the slightest perturbations. 111, okay. Yeah, that's quite a bit later than I've been doing it. Does it look like they just kind of press it as they pass through the second gate and then let go of it before they hit the third gate? No. That ending part is like a total mystery to me, and I only make it there like 1 in every 100 attempts. I don't see that's one of the hardest things I've done in any game, just racing games. Very salty about that ending on the orange bar run. Great. If I had held more to the left, I think I could have salvaged that one. How would you describe straightening out of a drift? Like, is there anything you can think of that you would need to do with the steering wheel? Is it turning away from the drift, turning into the drift? I guess most of this I'm turning away from it. Around to the drift, not too much. Just start going the other way. It's Like there's just enough gates at the end too that I can't afford to just flub the ending. Be a fun game to watch somebody speedrun. It's just like perfect at it. Well, I guess the speedrun is always going to be the same time no matter what. You'd be competing for like millisecond improvements. Here's a weird question. Watching a video of someone clearing it, how often are you seeing their front wheel? Because I'm trying to like anchor my vision on something that might help me get the feedback I need to succeed here. It looks like the front right wheel swings out a lot at the beginning, and then when I'm doing okay, I'm like constantly bringing the wheel in front of the car and then back out and then back in front of the car and then back out and so on. Hold on a second. Seems really hard. Please no! Please no! Oh. Oh. I just don't know what to do at the end. Not clear from the video what they're doing as an input. Pick a landmark at the end. Something would be better than nothing, which is what I got going on right now. The last 5 gates are just like, they feel impossible to me right now. Started looking at the BMW signs, but now that I know to look for them, I'll try to like just straighten out relative to the signs. It's when you're thinking I need to start doing inputs to straighten out. Maybe that's the problem, is I've been trying to fix it at the end of the race and it's already too late if I start doing it. Thank you for that tip. That did it. Ray, I'm glad we booked 3 hours. Turned out I needed it. Fun. I'm guessing I'm not going to get credits for that because it's just the end of Driving Revolution. So just to give my final thoughts, I love this game. I think it's really, really, really good. It is probably the most fun I've had with a sim racer. The structure of the levels is fantastic. It's really good for teaching the player, I think. It's a shame that we haven't seen iteration on it because I imagine there are some problems with it that could be cleaned up with a little bit of adjustment. Yeah, I think that level 17, that track 4, was probably the best feeling I've had in a racing game. Midnight Club 2 came close. because I would definitely get the heart rate pumping towards the end of one of those 8-minute missions or whatever. But usually it was like an extreme feeling of relief when I won. It never felt like, oh, I won because I did the thing correctly. It was like, oh, I won because I did the thing acceptably and also didn't get fucked over by RNG. But here there was no RNG, right? So when I finally passed it, it was like a really cool, triumphant beat a Dark Souls boss moment. And I haven't seen that in a racing game before, so that's really, really exciting. It makes me excited to see if anything ever comes out that's like this. I started to say it makes me excited to see Enthusia 2. That doesn't exist and probably will never exist. But if anyone finds out that there's a game that comes out that's in some way inspired by it, even if I'm like 90 years old, let me know. I would very much like to check it out. I had a great time with it. Thanks, Yay Walter, for putting this on Subblock. And thanks, This Name, for all your help.